A 20-year employee of the transit system, he could now lose his job for tossing a woman off his bus. Tonight, his union says, though his actions were controversial, they are justified.
Get up.
Captured on video, the incident unfolded aboard a B-35 bus in Brooklyn. A woman refuses to put out her cigarette despite other passengers' complaints. Next, the bus driver gives her a final warning and then literally tosses her off.
No! Oh, wow.
He warned her a couple of times, and the lady didn't listen, and he had to eject her.
Union officials say the driver had to throw her off for smoking. But what about this? Once off the bus, it appears the driver takes a swipe at the woman. The chairman for bus operators in Brooklyn disagrees. It appears, though, that he's trying to take a strike at her. Did he take a swipe at her?
There was no swipe at her at all. He's just trying to get her off her.
The MTA has already publicly disagreed with the union's position. They call the driver's actions, quote, inappropriate, and say he should have called police before using force.
Ooh.
Some riders we showed the video to agree with the suspension.
I think I would have asked the police to do it, but she definitely was wrong.
She was definitely wrong, but did he overreact, do you think?
I think he overreacted. I think he could have, went about it in a more professional manner.
One reason the union is defending the use of force, they say some city buses are powered by natural compressed gas. So when someone lights a cigarette, they say there is a direct threat to the public, and they say the drivers have the right to physically remove that person.
She looked hostile, and he had her eject her, for the safety of himself and also for the safety of the passengers.
And the Transit Workers Union says this could have been avoided if there were more safety aboard buses. I spoke earlier with the vice chair of bus operators about this part of the story. So you think, in your opinion, that there potentially should be more policing on the buses to avoid situations like this?
Yes, I do think so. I think if more police presence are on the bus, we wouldn't be facing this. Driver has a lot of responsibility as it is on a bus, rather than worrying about someone who's illegally smoking on a bus. It's a stressful job. We shouldn't have to worry about stuff like that.
And what everyone wants to know is, if you look at that video, if you just watch it for the first time, I mean, it looks like this guy went over the line. But you're going to defend him. You're going to say he didn't go over the line. Why do you defend him here?
Well, one, we defend our members. The video may show excessive, but not at all. We're sure we're going to come out of this okay. He did what he had to do to safeguard that bus, that is our job, to make sure the safety of other passengers and as well as the bus itself. That's very dangerous equipment, and smoking on a bus like that could cause some serious harm.
In this day and age, everyone has a camera, everyone has a cell phone. You always have to be worried about this PR standpoint, but in this day and age, knowing what you know about this incident, if this were to happen again, would you say follow the same procedure that you followed the last time to get this person off the bus?
I feel that, until you're in a situation like that, there's always room to doing things differently. We back up our members to the fullest. We feel that he did do what he had to do for the safety of the bus and the passengers, but there's always room to change things. And if you're in a situation like that, could I have done it differently? Yeah, of course. There's always ways you can do it different and better. But when you're, in that situation, you're fast thinking. It's not an easy task.
Neither the MTA nor the union wanted to release the driver's name. Again, he's been suspended without pay while the MTA reviews this issue.
It's an unusual situation.
Certainly unusual.
What happens next with the driver?
Well, talking to some of the union officials, they tell me that they are going to try and get this before an arbitrator. They're hoping to do that sometime within the next 48 hours, and they're hoping to have a resolution, obviously, within the next 2 days.
Okay.
All right, Dan, thank you. And we should point out that we asked the MTA to actually join us tonight for an on-camera interview, but they unfortunately declined.
This all happened at a bus stop that you can see behind me. Yesterday afternoon, a woman was smoking a cigarette on a bus, which is against the law, when the bus driver literally picked her up and threw her off the bus. And tonight, after reviewing this video obtained exclusively by Fox 5, the MTA now says that this driver's actions may have been inappropriate. It is the B35 line on Thursday in Brooklyn on Nostrand Avenue. The bus is stopped and all eyes are on this woman. She has apparently lit a cigarette, and you can hear fellow passengers insisting she put it out or get off. She can be heard saying that she doesn't want to comply. She goes for another puff, and the driver of the bus, wearing his New York City Transit sweater with a patch on the right arm for identification, walks into view. He tells the woman he could have police remove her and asks her to get up.
I'll get the police and get you out of here.
She refuses, and the driver grabs her forcefully and lifts her from the seat.
Oh, wow.
Once off the bus, the situation seems to be over, but then the driver appears to take a jab at her while she's on the ground.
Your profession, you're supposed to operate the bus. Not to take matters into your own hands. You should have called 911.
Jermaine Johnson captured the images on his cell phone. He thinks the driver overreacted.
This could have been my mother, aunt, a family member. Regardless if she was being disruptive, she didn't make any strikes at anyone. She was just being, obnoxious.
Other MTA riders we showed the video to earlier agree.
He shouldn't have touched her. That wasn't right.
Should he have waited for the police, do you think?
Well, he need not have waited for the police, but, looking at this video, I think not even like 10 seconds before he grabbed her.
And even if you'd had to call the police officer or something, you don't grab someone like that. That's excessive.
You think that's excessive? You think he overstepped his bounds?
He overstepped his boundaries with that, yes. I know if that was my mother, it would have been a problem. You don't grab someone like that.
And again, we reached out to the MTA. They say the matter is under investigation to identify and interview the bus operator in question. They say smoking on MTA New York City transit buses or any transit property is against the law. However, this bus operator's actions were inappropriate. In such cases, the bus operator should contact the bus command center for assistance from the New York Police Department. And I spoke tonight with the president of the Transit Workers Union, and he tells me he's going to be looking into this situation.